In this video, we're going to be looking at graphing an ellipse that's centered at the origin. An ellipse with a horizontal major axis has standard form x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared equals 1, where 0 is less than b is less than a. An ellipse with a horizontal major axis will have a center of 0, 0 if it's centered at the origin. Vertices of plus or minus a comma 0, co-vertices of 0 comma plus or minus b, and foci of plus or minus c comma 0, where c squared equals a squared minus b squared. If we're looking at an ellipse centered at the origin that has a vertical major axis, the standard form is x squared over b squared plus y squared over a squared equals 1, where 0 is less than b is less than a. It will have center 0, 0, vertices 0 plus or minus a, co-vertices plus or minus b comma 0, and foci of 0 comma plus or minus c, where c squared equals a squared minus b squared. So let's look at a quick example. In this example, we have x squared plus 16y squared equals 16. So the first thing we want to do is we want to write it in standard form. And identify whether it's a horizontal major axis or a vertical major axis ellipse. So if we have x squared plus 16y squared equals 16, we need one side to be equal to 1. So we're going to divide by 16. And that's going to give us x squared over 16 plus y squared over 1 equals 1. And we know that in an ellipse, 0 is always less than b is always less than a. So here we can identify that 16 is our a squared and 1 is our b squared. So that tells us that we have an ellipse with a horizontal major axis, which looks like x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared equals 1. So second, we want to look at what this tells us. So with a horizontal major axis, we have a center of 0, 0 because we're centered at the origin for this problem. We have vertices of plus or minus a, comma 0, co-vertices of 0, comma plus or minus b, and then we have foci of plus or minus c, comma 0, where c squared equals a squared minus b squared. So let's look at this. Our vertices are going to be plus or minus a comma 0. So if our a squared is 16, that means our a is going to be 4 because a is always positive. So we have plus or minus 4 comma 0. Our co-vertices, we need to look at b. So we're going to have 0 comma, our b squared is 1. So we're going to have plus or minus 1. And our foci, we need to solve for c. So we have c squared equals a squared minus b squared. So c squared equals 16 minus 1. C squared equals 15. So c equals square root of 15. So our foci are going to be plus or minus the square root of 15, comma 0. So let's look at graphing this. So if we're graphing this in Alex, it's going to ask us to place our center, which we know to be 0, 0. It wants us to place a vertex, so it's going to be positive 4, 0. And it wants us to place a co-vertex, which is going to be 0, 1.